SNnews News Radio. Thank you so much for coming in with Indacarseat, DatGuY, StreetNOW News, your Jake, terry-dwayne-ashford.
It is Friday, May 7th is the date. We want to thank you so much for your listening here. We're coming in with you, for you, and about you at 8:15 for our 8:30 broadcast today. For StreetNOW News, SNnews. I'm him in the car. See, I'm that guy. We're bringing you news around the world. News around the world this Friday evening. We had a very eventful day. Very eventful day, but a very relaxed day, too. I'm going to report our activity throughout the day. First of all, we didn't go into any bathrooms at all today. So we won't have any type of problem identifying the wrong one as the wrong person doing something that you know Terry-Dwayne-Ashford in the car. See, that guy doesn't do. So we didn't do any bathrooms at all today. We did lots of wonderful calisthenics and yoga exercise combination. A combinational exercise methodology that was created by myself, Terry-Dwayne-Ashford, your StreetNOW News. And that was done today, right there in the middle of the Rock Creek Park, right across from the Pierce Mill. It wasn't anything that was planned, it was something that just happened. And it's a beauty, a beautiful feeling when it just happens because it was supposed to happen, and it happened. It gave us our peace for the day. We started the day with an issue with the battery of the vehicle, but that was okay because we'd already planned to take an early morning walk that would last about an hour out in the Rock Creek Park area. We was going to explore some new areas of the park today. So when the issue occurred with the battery issue, the car, we felt that was going to be okay because once we take a walk and then make it back to the vehicle, the battery would have recharged and we will be fine again. Well, we ended up spending, from that morning, 7 or 8 o'clock that morning until about 2 p.m. We didn't get out of the park until about 2:35 p.m. It was then that we realized that the car still had not charged, or the battery in the car had still not charged. Totally okay with that because we had a lot of things going on in our brains in terms of things that we were working on. We got a lot of things done in terms of our exercise. We were pretty rejuvenated from the day. So now we got everything rocking and rolling, and now we're about to bring you the news around the world, news around the nation, news locally. So some fun facts from Indacarseat, DatGuY, Terry-Dwayne-Ashford. Now we do want to inform you that our sources will be news usually is reflected in the verbal reciting of that particular news source. You're with SNnews right now. I'm Terry-Dwayne-Ashford, bringing you the news Friday evening. Friday evening, May 7th is the date, and the time right now it's about 8:15. Jumping right into that news now. A job family bill is needed, says Biden, according to a CNBC report. Job family bills are needed. Now, the president is saying that an infrastructure overhaul is needed in a dire state situation here amidst the job growth that showed lower than expected growth for the month of April in the nation. So it looks like that he's about to jump on some activity pertaining to bills and the labor department here in the United States. Now, we also want to let's not forget that it was our President Biden here who also gave us some tax perks provided in breaks, and federal income taxes given to about $10,200 of unemployment monies that was received. You don't have to file taxes on that. Well, I'm not going to say you don't have to file. You have to do what you're supposed to do according to the IRS filing instruction. But you get in a tax break on about $10,200 of those unemployment dollars. In other news around the nation, we go all the way down to Texas. We have a Texas newspaper who's highlighting a growing social trend in restricting the transgender community. The transgender community has been a bill has been revived to restrict transgenders and participation in sports, according to the Texas Tribune. Texas Tribune newspaper is restating a Democrat-backed, supported, revived bill that failed in passing in the law, passing into law due to lack of approvals, lack of votes. See, when a bill doesn't have a right number of votes to pass from a bill into a law, it doesn't become a law. That's we've talked about color of law. We've talked about that. That's a prime example right there. This particular bill has been posed before to restrict transgenders in the sports and playing sports in schools, and it didn't pass. Well, therefore it wasn't a law. So that means transgender get a chance to go ahead and play and enjoy themselves just like everybody else. It didn't become a law. But we have one Democrat who, his name is Harold Dutton, Dutton of Texas. He's reviving that bill. He's reviving that bill, and he says that transgender, that they need to revisit that bill. It's already failed once. We haven't delved into why he's reviving such a bill, what appears to be a divisive bill. For what? But anyway, Harold Dutton is the Texas representative that's reviving that bill, and the Texas House of Representatives that states that Democrats and Republicans altogether reconvene to make another decision on whether they could restrict transgenders in sports in schools. Again, we want to say that particular bill has failed before, and there wasn't enough votes needed to pass that bill, so therefore it didn't become a law. That's the way it's supposed to happen. That leads us also into color of law. Now, we've talked here in Washington, D.C. about the color of law. And what that means is creating some type of facade that a law exists when there is no law. There is no law when there is no bill that has passed law criteria. And that law criteria means that there needs to be a particular number of votes for a bill or a proposed bill to become a law. And if that didn't happen, then that means it didn't become law. And we had a problem with that. With that, we've had contention and concern, conversation, discussion about that here in Washington, D.C. When a law not passed as a law, it's not a law. There ain't nothing else to be said about it. It's not a law. And so we're going to leave it at that. Harold Dutton is the Texas representative, and he is one of a few blacks that's been voted into the Texas House of Representatives. He's a black African American representative, and he's reviving that bill that says Or why won't we just restrict them to play sports with us? I don't understand. We need to delve more into the purpose of that bill a little. We need to look into that bill and then make some decisions on that for ourselves. But it doesn't sound too right to me. It doesn't sound like you're turning the right way to me on that particular bill. But it is. There are purposes and reasons behind everything that we do. I'm sure there's purpose. You're getting the news right now from source SNnews, Terry-Dwayne-Ashford here in Washington, D.C. We're looking around the world. We're looking at some of the headlines around the world. Some of the things that's making news around the world. That's just one of the stories. That particular story came from the Texas Tribune newspaper, highlighting reviving the bill that says backed by Harold Dutton, one of the black African-American representatives in the Texas Congress. And, he's reviving that bill, and we just wanted to give you some information. We'll be right on back here with some fun stuff in a few moments. Now, one of the things I want to mention on the side, as a sidebar to all this, is so important to have different types of reporters who's reporting the news, because you get a different perspective when you have all the stuff that's going on in the community right there in your face. It's going on right there in your face. But if you don't have an ample number of participants in the news that's reporting news, then some of those facts may be pushed to the side. Maybe pushed to the side. Here you have a black representative, African-American representative, who is stating, I'm sure that there's a reason for it, but who's stating that transgender shall be pushed, I think I say pushed out aside, but they should be restricted. Are we looking at a trend here? Are we looking at a trend? And who would that trend apply to? You don't get that when you have when you don't have a diverse group of representatives or reporters looking at it. You have representatives, representatives, and the House is good. But out there in the journalism field, you have to also have to have the reporters who's reporting on that, so that you can see it. See, again, it is the reporters and the journalism who brings this information to the forefront, so that our representatives can make rules and laws about them. And if the reporters, a certain number of reporters or certain type of reporters kept out of the field, you don't get a chance to see that. You probably wouldn't have gotten such a news source if there wasn't a black, maybe reporter who maybe supports transgender. You wouldn't get that type of reporting. Therefore, you wouldn't get that type of reaction in the House by the representatives. For StreetNOW News, I'm terry-dwayne-ashford. All about you. We're going to come back with that fun stuff about that old stripper and that stripper community in Bolo and Portugal.